We go where the news of the day takes us. It's the mantra of the show. And the Denver Broncos, a white-hot tire fire, they have been a topic of conversation quite a bit because they suck. And we like talking about teams that were supposed to be good that blow, and that would be the Broncos. And so they spent a lot of time in the friendly skies, Denver taking the transcontinental journey across the Atlantic to play against Jacksonville. Play date with the Jaguars at Wembley Stadium early in the morning when most people are sleeping. No one will be watching this game. People in UK, I guess, will, but not here. Anyway, Russell Wilson. Yeah, good old Russ. Always filling the content kitty. He addressed the reporters in the UK there, telling the Bronco traveling media party that he's back. He's ready to rock. That's right. He's ready to rock. Good news. Rock and roll for his team as they take on Jacksonville in a game that does not have a lot of juice. But he did miss the last Broncos game with a hamstring injury. He's had supposedly a shoulder injury, but he's ready to go. But that's not the story. Don't bury the lead, my man. All right, so he put his unique touch, Russell Wilson did, on his sojourn to England. So if you didn't hear, and perhaps not, buckle up, another great chapter in the life and times of Russell Wilson, who revealed that he spent roughly 50% of the chartered flight from Denver to London flying across the ocean, working out. Now, I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not embellishing. As Warner Wolf would say, let's go to the audio tape.
I don't really get jet lag too often. I don't really, I've traveled enough to get, kind of get my system down. But yeah, for me, I was on the plane about 8 hours flight here. That's the first 2 hours I was watching the film, watching all the cut-ups and everything else. And then for the next 4 hours, I was doing treatment on the plane. I was walking up and down the aisles. Everybody was knocked out. I was doing high knees and working on my legs and everything else, making sure I'm ready to rock. So that was good. And then the last 2 hours, the last hour of that, I fell asleep for 1 hour, and then I watched the film the rest. So I felt good to go once we got back.
So, if you weren't picking up on the money part of that quote, Wilson said during the 8-hour journey from Colorado to the UK, he spent 4 of those hours doing high knees up and down the aisle while his teammates were sleeping. So it's like what are you doing? What a douche. Anyway, the media picked up on that, and a reporter asked a follow-up asking if this was normal.
I do it, when I need to, especially when it's a longer flight. The more you move, the better you feel when you get off of it. So I've got my secrets. I got my movements and then tons of water. It always helps.
There you go. Is that special water? Is that the special water you were selling a couple years ago? All right, so
Mr. Unlimited. Yeah. You got to be unlimited.
Oh, this is so good. Can you imagine having to be on a flight with somebody who walks up and down the aisle for 4 hours? Holy crap. You should be allowed to punish that person with a punch. You should be allowed to punch that person that walks up and down the aisle for 4 hours doing high knees. All right, so let us discuss the question. How awkward was Russell Wilson doing the exercises up and down the aisle, doing the high knees for 4 hours, he claimed? I've got overdosing, Mona Lisa, and Dracula. And we'll combine all of these things together, and we're going to make an amazing plate of Rocky Mountain oysters. Something I ate a couple years ago, the Rocky Mountain oysters. Disgusting. It's a local delicacy in Colorado. It's horrible. I don't recommend eating it. So, we'll start with this. It's on brand for Russell Wilson. Russ, when you do a job like I do, on this side of the microphone, Russell is a subscription box. Every week, a new box arrives, a box of surprises right there at my doorstep, and I can open them up, and I'm guaranteed at least once a week to squeeze out a Maller monologue on Russell being Russell. For that, I'm grateful because of his bizarre activity. It's another example of Russell Wilson trying too hard. Now, he likely was embellishing. I'm skeptical that he spent 4 hours going up and down the aisle. It appears that he is also overcompensating. Hardo overload would be a phrase we can use. The emails I get from P1s who listen to us in Seattle, They are so happy. They used to rip me when I would talk about Russell Wilson. Now that he's wearing the other laundry, they love it. And Russ is like the 40-year-old virgin, right? He's naive, he's awkward, he's eager to be one of the cool guys, but he does it in a weird way. You're doing it all wrong. Not that I know about being cool, but I'm telling you, we have people in the Pacific Northwest who are literally overdosing on Schadenfreude. So giddy that not only is Russ falling on his face there, run over by an avalanche in Colorado, but Geno Smith is having an out-of-body experience here. He made a deal with the devil, Geno, and has become one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL for now. But this latest episode continues a trend. All right, Russell Wilson is doing a self-parody of Russell Wilson, and we believe, though, that he is so obtuse he does not realize what he is doing. He owns a staggering lack of self-awareness, and God bless him for that. Now, page number 2. Where does Russell Wilson wandering around a plane? Just imagine that visual in the cartoon bubble above your head as you're doing whatever you're doing, as he's walking back and forth. Where does the cartoon bubble rank for Russ? He's done a lot of crazy things. So I'm going to use my audio telestrator. All right, audio telestrator. We do not do lists. We do not do list radio, so this is not a list. It's a big board. So take a look up, if you will, at the radio here. Big Ben's big board of cringeworthy Russell Wilson moments. We'll go from 5 to 1, with 1 being the craziest. So top 5 answers on the board. Now, we have honorary mentions. I'm going to put the high stepping on the plane. I'm not going to put that in the top 5. I'm also not going to place on the big board Let's Ride, which is crazy. He's been saying that off and on in Denver. The hype video that the Broncos sent out with Russ saying Let's Ride, that was right up there, but not in the top 5. So number 5 on the big board is the Russ TikTok videos. There are many TikTok videos, but the one I picked was, we highlighted it on the show. He was surrounded by a bunch of preppy-looking, annoying people that apparently were either his friends or paid to be in the TikTok video, who were supposed to be helping him pick his wardrobe. If you saw that video, it's very, very on brand for Russ as well. He's got his wife, Sierra, pretending to eat ice cream, a certain brand of ice cream that Russ may or may not have a deal with, while there just happens to be a multi-$1,000 wristwatch just placed on the table for product placement. So that was number 5. Number 4, the insane to the membrane rehab. You might not remember this, but last year, Russ injured his finger in Seattle, and he told the media that he spent 19 hours a day rehabbing his injured finger. 19 hours a day rehabbing his finger. I think it's a fib. All right, now, number 3, the private number. This should probably be higher, but it's number 3 on the big board of great moments in the life and times of Russell Wilson. This is from Richard Sherman and Marshawn Lynch, a couple of ex-teammates in Seattle, who revealed that Russell Wilson is such a private person that he would not give his own teammates his phone number all those glory years in Seattle. Instead, if Marshawn Lynch or Sherman wanted to contact Russ, they had to contact his manager. That's a pretty ballsy move. Imagine if I should change my number and say, no, you got to contact my person to talk to me. What a dumbass. All right, number 2, the nano bubbles. Now, nano bubbles. This goes back a number of years. Russell Wilson is such a con artist. He was selling recovery water with charge-stabilized nano bubbles that he claimed help prevent concussions. There's a term for that from the old country. It's called a quack. And Russ was doing that. He believed this had magical powers. And the number 1 on the big board, number 1 moment, number 1 on the big board of cringeworthy things that Russell Wilson has done. Number 1. Yeah, this one's easy. Mr. Unlimited. Oh, yeah, his alter ego, Mr. Unlimited. This is the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa for Russell Wilson. This should get him in the creepy Hall of Fame, the awkward Hall of Fame there. Him walking around his mansion and his family asking him questions there, at least one family member asking him questions, and him going, Unlimited, Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited. You got to be unlimited.
Oh, my goodness. All right, last word here. So is there a light at the end of the tunnel for the Broncos? Yeah, no, you play for the Broncos now, Russ. You got to update. But is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Denver? The answer is yes. The light at the end of the tunnel is there. It is an oncoming freight train with broken brakes rolling down the tracks at a high rate of speed. Some people blossom, and most people wilt under pressure. And Nathaniel Hackett, and to some degree Russell Wilson here, they both have been like Dracula, exposed to sunlight, miserable failures in Colorado. Hackett has been the Duke of Puke as a coach. Doesn't seem to know what the hell he's doing. And the teams, you can tell they're poorly coached. All the penalties, all the pre-snap penalties, the clock management, all of that. And then you've got Russell Wilson, who got paid, and the Broncos so far they've actually played. Not all that glitters is gold. In fact, Russ, he's the 26th ranked quarterback in the NFL behind Davis Mills, who's got a better stat line. Davis Mills in Houston, and Matt Ryan, who already got benched for the rest of his time in Indianapolis, but he had better numbers than Russell Wilson. So Wilson has given Denver a case of buyer's remorse, and that idea that you won't get a lemon, well, so far they've gotten a lemon in the Mile High City, the life and stylings of one Mr. Unlimited Russell Wilson.
You can go to sleep.
No, you can't. I mean, we're doing an overnight show. You can't go to sleep. We got to be up all night, Russ. Yeah, I mean, we got a show to do. Okay, what's wrong with you?